Hi, I'm Mike Muetzel, president of MX Marketing. Thanks so much for visiting our site. This video clip that you're about to see is a banquet keynote. Banquet keynotes are a little bit challenging, different than workshops, and where we're trying to share research and ideas and what's working out there in today's world. Banquets are a little different. Usually the time frame is much shorter, 20, 25 minutes at the max. They got to be challenging. They got to have humor, try and show little pieces of myself in there. You also have to demonstrate your credibility and your management research. Obviously got to end with some motivation and some passion. But at the end of the day, I think what really makes a great banquet keynote or a great banquet speaker is the fact that the message is truly customized to the audience, and I tried to do that here. The theme of this conference was Bridging the Generations for the Center for Health Administration and Service Excellence. Actually, only 15% of my work is in long-term care or healthcare, but I hope when you watch this video, you would think that I made my career there, and that's where my passion was as I share this message. And if you get bored, skip to the end. Hopefully there is some good motivational passion at the end. Again, Mike Muetzel, thank you so much. If we can help you and your group in any way, please let us know. Visit our website, www.unlockthemysteries.com. Thank you. Man, what a great day I had. Got to present some generational stuff, my passion earlier. The time with the students, unbelievable. The quality of the students that you have here. And I just want to thank you. But with all that being said, I've been on this amazing journey, right, especially from a corporate perspective. When I go into work with senior level C-suites at the corporate level, one of the things that's really cool in my life is I have been in the CEO's office of probably over 100 or 150 different companies. And the coolest thing is when you walk in their office. Now, I've not seen the dean or the provost here. There's probably a good reason why I wasn't invited, but regardless, it's amazing what you see when you go in these offices, right? You see artwork, you see statues, bookshelves, fiction, nonfiction. I've gotten to the point where I can almost tell the way the leadership thinks by what they have on their bookshelves, okay? And sometimes after 20 or 30 minutes, I can also sense that those books are there to impress people like me and have never been read. Some executives have pictures of eagles. Some have artwork to stimulate creativity. Bookshelves loaded. But I've never been in a C-suite executive's office nor any of these modern conference rooms that I get to meet in and seen a bridge. For reasons that will become increasingly obvious over the next 15 minutes, they thought I was immature. And they thought that I should go back and they should send me for a master's degree. I was telling the students in the first class is Calculus 1, 2, 3, and Introduction to Lotus. Anybody remember Lotus? The kids, they got no idea. They think Lotus like a grasshopper they saw on the Food Network. Point 4, if you add the last 2 years together. And then they hired me back to speak to incoming classes. Oh, what were they thinking, eh? Anyway, I did my thesis on management training in small, medium-sized companies, and that changed my life. That's funny. So, at the end of my thesis, my project was to write a management leadership development program for manufacturing and one for sales and distribution, and to go out and sell those and then report on the results. And I was blessed. I did that. And people thought that I was glib and funny and the content was good and I put millions of hours into research into it. I loved the project, okay? But when I got done, I felt so empty. Because like Dean and I were sharing earlier, a program is kind of like a movie, isn't it? It's got a beginning and it's also got an ending. And after these people had come together for this development work, I couldn't help but think, where do we go from here? My program was over. Were they going to hire somebody else? Chances are they probably weren't. But it became a question that haunts me to this day. In my work with corporate team development, my work with corporate leadership teams, you know, where do we go from here, and where is the destination? I don't think there even is a destination, right? I mean, because what is a destination where you want to reach today in 5 years is going to be mediocre. So, where do we go from here? I decided I had to reach a point in my life when I lived my dream and took the final leap, and that was writing and researching. After 9 or 10 years with Yamaha, I decided it was time. But anyway, I left there and I started to research and do corporate work. And my first really big gig was with an interesting company. It wouldn't be appropriate if I told you their name, but they made cookies, and the employees were short and hung out in trees. Because when I would go into companies, a lot of times I would talk to the mid-level managers first and do surveys, right? And they would describe their bosses as like these ogres. Wouldn't listen, traditionalist, autocratic, right? But in the next gig, if I would go in and talk to senior level management first, the C-suite, they would say, you're not going to believe our middle managers. They don't care. They run out of here every day at 5 o'clock. Nobody's committed. There's no loyalty. And I'm going, you guys work in the same building? Because in essence, you know, there was this great divide. Now at the time I was writing a workshop for Ken Blanchard. You may have read The 1 Minute Manager, a lot of his work. You wrote forward to Who Moved My Cheese. He's a 50,000 an hour keynoter, and I'm not, but I'm not that bitter. I told a story about Ralph. And he goes, Mike, this generational thing is going to be huge. You need to research it and write it. So over the course of the next 18 months, I interviewed somewhere around 600 or 700 Generation X employees and managers. This is 2003, 2004, ranging in salary from 20,000 to 200,000 plus. And I started to see this great, great divide. How they saw their senior management and how senior management saw them. It's like they were trolls under a bridge, right? There was this huge gap. But nobody ever recognized the gap, especially from the senior management level. And why would they? It's like I told my lunch audience today. Most boomers at the time, senior level managers, think they all went through a wild streak. Yeah. You know, I had these people tell me, well, I went to a Grateful Dead concert, but ultimately I conformed to corporate. Well, I got news for you. Gen X and millennials never conformed. Why would they? In a world where hippies used to morph into corporate cultures. But it's not true anymore. You see, in terms of goals, I discovered in these interviews, and when I started writing like the Gen X book, in terms of goals, everybody wanted to be successful. That makes sense, right? Everybody wants to be successful. Everybody wanted to grow with the company. Now that's funny, isn't it? Go to work for a company and think you retire with the same company. You know, maybe you get the proverbial gold watch, right? Anybody seen young people wearing watches today? If they do, it's either ornamental or a Fitbit. But with Gen Xers and millennials, trust and loyalty in organizations was no longer assumed, but no longer a given. And in the last 5 years, the data from Cato and Pew and stuff I shared today reflects that even boomers have come around more to the Gen X issues and the millennial issues of trust in organizations. These deep silos exist in many of the companies that I work with. Very few have ever bridged the gap. And some bridge it temporarily, but then when the metrics aren't met and they resort back to crisis management, which means in Latin, eliminate people, the good they did by progressing their organizations is counterbalanced by even more damage, right? I thought you were on my side. Now I know that you're just one of those. Now nobody's going to come up and tell you this, but they tell me. And it's clearly evidenced by the engagement figures and everything else. So again, I ask, if everybody wanted to be successful, where will be the bridges? You see, with appropriate bridges, people are different, man. Generations are different. They have to be. Why wouldn't they be? In terms of work, as we talked about today, in the past your goal was to be a provider and help make the company successful, to get better, to contribute to the company getting better. And if you happen to get better in the process, that was just a benefit. Ultimately, people want to play for a winner, right? But in today's world, people want to have a life too. People want to make a difference. Never more evident than in the data from the first quarter of 2016 that I shared with you today. Unlike even 5 years ago, employees are not interested in succession planning because succession planning inherently assumes that you're grooming me to help you be successful. Maybe you think it's wrong, but it's like saying no more texting in my meetings. It ain't going to change. So what are you going to do? Discipline, fire, penalize your top performers because they come and they were raised for good reason within this type of culture? You see, personal growth has taken precedent in organizations that are developing their employees way over succession planning. Which leads me to my next dialogue about a journey and a bridge. The most amazing work to integrate Gen X and millennial values, concepts, flexibilities. Somehow, some way, this group of people from across the United States, like people that come into this program as freshmen, somehow they're united as a successful team because they have one common mission: to improve the lives of the people that they work with. This noble profession builds bridges that overcome every silo and every gap, bringing different generations together for one cause to help improve people's lives. You see, I need you. People you have never even met need you. And thus, I'm incredibly thrilled to stand before you tonight. Never lose sight of the fact that this is not about a destination at all. It's about a journey. It's so difficult because the destination will always be a moving target. You see, this message to you and my opportunity to tell you how you've changed my life is the bridge between all my journeys and the opportunity you've given me tonight. This is the bridge between students and faculty. This is the bridge between this university and the Chase program and their sponsors. You see, Chase is the bridge between what you teach and what you nourish and what you grow. It's not just a classroom. It's what you feel when you hear the professors in this program speak. It's what you feel when you see their commitment. You see, Eau Claire, you teach what goes into the hands of so many that the future holds for, again, people you've never even met. It's unbelievable. If corporate had half of that that you have in this room on a daily basis, we wouldn't have the myriad of issues that we have. You're contributing. All of you are contributing to building the strongest, most successful bridge ever known, as long-term care becomes the paramount issue in the United States. You send 50 or 60 of the most qualified students to come out of any program ever, the benchmark by which others are held against, every year. Congratulations. You see, the bridge is you. For so many journeys, a bridge whose destination only all of you collectively, universities, sponsors, faculty, students, you are the ultimate bridge whose destination only you will determine. I can't wait to watch what you do. Thank you very much. God bless.